Hello, dark and twisty listeners. Last year I had some really lovely reviews from some of you. They mean a lot to me, and I love to imagine you listening while you cook and get ready for bed or snuggle with your very brave offspring by the fire. I haven't had any this year, though, so if you'd like to cheer me up, tell me what you like best and when you like to listen. I've also had a couple of dedicated fans reach out to me and ask if there's a way to support the podcast financially, which would make it much easier for me to not worry so much about how much time I spend on each story, that's for sure. So I've just set up an account on Ko-Fi, which is a little platform to support creatives. You can basically buy me a cup of tea for $3, which would be lovely, or change that to the amount of multiple cups of tea you'd like to buy me, depending on how often you listen or how much you enjoy my stories. You'll find that link in the bio for your podcast. However you want to support the podcast, whether it's buying me a cup of tea, sharing the podcast with your friends, writing me a review, all of it is so welcome, and I really appreciate, because I know it takes time to do these things. And if you do write a review, do let me know how you listen and who you listen with, because I love to picture you when I'm reading the story. It makes it more real for me. So stay healthy, stay warm and dry, and I hope you enjoy this really rather dark story. It's not great for the horse lovers. I'm gonna just put that right out there. Okay, loads of love. Bye. There you are. Pull up a chair by the fireside. I'm going to tell you a story, but it's not for the faint of heart. My name is Julia Norton, and you're listening to Dark and Twisty Tales, a weekly telling of the lesser-known and more grisly folk stories and fairy tales. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I shall begin. The Dog and the Sparrow. There was once a sheepdog who'd not got a kind master, but one who left him to suffer from hunger. When he could bear it no longer, he went sadly away. On the road, he met a sparrow who said, "Brother Dog, why are you so sad?" The dog answered, "Because I'm hungry and I have nothing to eat." "Then," said the sparrow, "Brother Dog, come with me to the town, and I will satisfy your hunger." So they went to the town together, and when they came to the butcher's shop, the sparrow said to the dog, "Stay where you are out there, and I will peck down a piece of meat." He perched upon the stall and looked about to see that he was not noticed. Then he pecked, pulled, and pushed a piece of meat lying near the edge, till at last it fell to the ground. The dog seized it and ran off with it to a corner, where he devoured it. Then the sparrow said to him, "Now come with me to another shop, and I will pull down another piece, so you may have enough." When the dog had gobbled up the second piece of meat, the sparrow said, "Brother Dog, have you had enough?"
"Yes, I've had enough meat," replied the dog, "but I haven't had any bread."
"Oh, you shall have some bread too," said the sparrow. "Come with me." And then he led him to the baker's shop, where he pecked at a couple of rolls till they fell down. Then, as the dog still wanted more, he took him to another shop, where he pulled down some more bread. When that was consumed, the sparrow said, "Brother Dog, is your hunger satisfied?"
"Yes," he answered. "Now let us go and walk about outside the town for a bit."
So they both went out onto the high road. Now it was very warm weather, and when they had walked a little way, the dog said,
"I'm tired, and I want to go to sleep."
"Oh, by all means," answered the sparrow. "I will sit upon this branch in the meantime." So the dog lay down upon the road and fell fast asleep. While he lay there sleeping, a carter came along driving a wagon with 3 horses. The wagon was laden with 2 casks of wine. The sparrow saw that he was not going to turn aside, but was going on in the track in which the dog lay, and he called out, "Carter, don't do it, or I will ruin you." But the carter grumbled to himself, "You won't ruin me," cracked his whip, and drove the wheels of his wagon right over the dog and killed him. The sparrow cried out after him, "Carter, you have killed my brother dog. It will cost you your wagon and your team." "My wagon and my team, indeed. What harm can you do to me?" asked the carter as he drove on. The sparrow crept under the tarpaulin and pecked at the bunghole of one of the casks till the bung came out and all the wine trickled away without the carter's being aware of it. When he looked round and saw the wine dripping from the wagon, he examined the casks and found that one was empty. "Alas, poor man that I am!" he cried. "Not poor enough yet," said the sparrow, as he flew onto the head of one of the horses and pecked out its eyes. When the carter saw what he was doing, he seized his chopper to throw at the sparrow, but the bird flew away and the chopper hit the horse on the head and he dropped down dead. "Alas, poor man that I am!" he cried. "Not poor enough yet," said the sparrow. As the carter drove on with his 2 horses, the sparrow again crept under the tarpaulin and pecked the bung out of the 2nd cask, so that all that wine ran out. When the carter perceived it, he cried again, "Alas, poor man that I am!" But the sparrow answered, "Not poor enough yet," and he seated himself on the head of the 2nd horse and pecked its eyes out. The carter ran up with his big chopper and struck at him, but the sparrow flew away and the blow hit the horse and killed it.
"Alas, poor man that I am!"
cried the carter. "Not poor enough yet," said the sparrow, as he perched on the head of the 3rd horse and pecked out its eyes. In his rage, the carter struck out at the sparrow with his chopper without taking aim, missed the sparrow, but hit his last horse on the head, and it fell down dead.
"Alas, poor man that I am!"
"Not poor enough yet," said the sparrow. "Now I will bring poverty to your home." And he flew away. The carter had to leave his wagon standing, and he went home full of rage and fury. He said to his wife, "What misfortunes I've had today! The wine has all run out of the casks, and me 3 horses are dead." "Alas, husband," she answered, "whatever kind of evil bird is this which has come into our house? He has assembled all the birds in the world, and they have settled on our maize, and they are eating it all up." He went into the loft where thousands and thousands of birds were sitting on the floor. They had eaten up all the maize, and the sparrow sat in the middle of them. Then the carter cried out,
"Alas, poor man that I am!"
"Not poor enough yet," answered the sparrow. "Carter, it will cost you your life." And he flew away. Now the carter, having lost all that he possessed, went downstairs and sat down beside the stove, very angry and ill-tempered. But the sparrow sat outside the window and cried, "Carter, it will cost you your life." The carter seized his chopper and threw it at the sparrow, but it only smashed the window and did not hit the bird. Then the sparrow hopped in and perched on the stove and cried, "Carter, it will cost you your life." The carter, mad and blind with rage, smashed the stove to atoms, but the sparrow fluttered hither and thither till all the furniture, the little looking-glass, the bench, the table, and at last the very walls of his house were destroyed, but without ever hitting the sparrow. At last he caught it in his hand. "Then," said his wife, "shall I kill it?" "No," he cried, "that would be too good for it. It shall die a much worse death. I will swallow it." And he took it and gulped it down whole. But the bird began to flutter about in his insides and at last fluttered up into the man's mouth. He stretched out his head and cried, "Carter, it will cost you your life yet." The carter handed his chopper to his wife and said, "Wife, kill the bird in my mouth." The woman hit out, but she aimed badly and hit the carter on the head, and down he fell dead. The sparrow, however, flew out right away. Thank you for listening to Dark and Twisty Tales. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe on iTunes, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can also get more information about me, Julia Norton, at julianorton.com. So, until the next time, bye.